Democrats investigated collusion for 3 years, but can't give Donald Trump 3 weeks to investigate corruption? You think Hillary conceded? She launched a coup. They framed Trump for collusion and sprung a sting on his transition. Democrats said Trump wasn't even legitimately elected.
The implication is that Donald Trump is not a legitimate president of the United States.
Donald Trump is an illegitimate president.
I do think that he knows that he's an illegitimate president.
I think part of it is his own insecurity as an imposter. He's in that office way over his head.
Want to get it off your chest? Call the Dave Weinbaum Show. They accuse this show of being run by boobs. Well, let me tell you something about us boobs. We're real and we're spectacular. Want politics and fun sprinkled with a lot of laughs? You're in the right place. Heard in 50 states and 98 countries, we just put 11 years of radio excellence into the can. Now, in our 12th year, the Dave Weinbaum Show is on the air. Changes every week. You know, like other achievements in the Trump presidency, this one, like his foreign policy, speed of a vaccine, we're going to have it in December now. Economic brilliance. This one can save America from being controlled by foreign countries and corrupt politicians from both sides. He may be in the process of saving America from the cheaters in control of our elections. And this goes way back in our history, but now it's worldwide. And we are using the tools of the devils leading Venezuela, China, and others to cheat. I believe Hillary thought she had cheated so well back in 2016 that Trump was never in a million years going to beat her. So for insurance, she created the Russian hoax. Even after Trump was impeached, tried for impeachment, and exonerated, Hillary's hoax is still believed by the mainstream media and other Dems today. And you would think they should know better. 5 years of spying, lying, and trying to destroy an innocent man, his campaign, his family, his associates, and us supporters. And now they're being revealed in a massive voter dump in at least 7 states and possibly all 29 of the states that Dominion computers operate in. Clues about this conspiracy? How about 7 states stopping counting on the night of 11/3, that's election day, when all the votes were supposed to be in? And then the counting machines were restarted when vans and cars from out of state delivered votes in the middle of the night. And these votes were almost exclusively for Biden. At that time, Trump was winning, and winning by a lot. Coincidence? I don't think so. 23 million votes more in 2016. I mean 23 million votes more than in 2016. 23 million votes. Where the hell did all those votes come from? Well, people were saying, well, that was a really lame, election. Actually, it was the second most voted election in the history of this country, this being the first. So where did we come up with 23 more million votes? Trump is 11 million plus ahead of where he was in 2016. More votes than any incumbent in our history. Joe spent most of the campaign hiding in his basement. And when he did go out, he couldn't draw a crowd if he lit his hair on fire and ran around in his underwear. Plus, Joe Biden sold his soul to the Ukraine, the Russian oligarchs, the PLO, Iran, Iraq, and much of this with the help of his bagman son, Hunter Biden. Then there's the communists in his party, including his vice president, the most liberal person in Congress, Kamala. Did I say it right? I don't care. Trump's crowds were huge everywhere. He tripled, quadrupled the measly efforts of Joe. Trump supporters were stoked, and they still are today. While the final countdown may or may not be enough, Trump has brought out the real America and shown us by his example that we will and we must fight back. Never give up. Never let up. And you'll never let your country down. Or am I wrong? Hi there. Welcome to the Dave Weinbaum Show. I am Dave Weinbaum, your host, and I'm proud to be here with producer JP Maxwell. Hi, JP. How are you doing?
Good morning, everybody.
And my lovely, beautiful wife who's busy working over there. I hope she'll take time enough to acknowledge my existence. My lovely wife, Lisa Ann Strausser Weinbaum. Hi, darling. How are you? Yeah, isn't that sweet? Thank you for that, because that helps me.
Thank you.
And it's all about me, isn't it?
Dave, JP, so nice to see you both again.
Yeah, and I mean, we always get comments on there about, hi to Lisa and all that. Oh, and you other guys, too. So, I mean, it's obvious she's the star of the show.
Well, of course. I know this. I know this, and don't build up her ego too much, because it's already too bad.
It's the people, not me.
What is that?
That's funny.
I think we have maybe somebody on the...
Oh, we got somebody on the line. Is that it? Okay. Let me show you a signal. What does this mean?
Looks like it's trying to hit a symbol to me.
How about a whip?
I forgot.
Because I could see...
One of those?
No, I don't want it, no. No, surprise me later. All right, I don't know who this is, JJ, but let's play this guy's song, and maybe it's him, maybe it isn't. Hit it.
Buddy, you're a boy, make a big noise, playing in the street, gonna be a big man someday. You got mud on your face,
You big disgrace,
kicking your can
all over the place, singing, we will rock you. We will rock you. Ladies and gentlemen, I have with me today a 252-year-old man who last week I made the mistake of twisting his hemorrhoids. I don't know how one does that, and I don't know how one untwists his hemorrhoids. However, how are you feeling this week, J.J. Bradshaw?
Now, there's a visual for you, Dave, that you'll have a hard time scouring out of your head.
I know.
I am doing just fine and better than last week.
Thanks.
I was pretty down last week. Of course, you said Trump conceded, and that pretty much stopped my heart for a while.
It was a
But,
joke. It was a bad joke. Okay, I grant you.
We promise we won't twist or untwist your hemorrhoids anymore.
I tried to be really careful today because how many twisted hemorrhoids can a 252-year-old man stand for? I don't know.
It took me about 2 days to get the knots undone.
Oh,
and
thank
believe
God.
me, that was not a fun time.
Oh my goodness.
Your monologue today, excellent.
Thank
so
you.
It was.
Thank you.
Stole a lot of my thunder, but I've got some thoughts to share with you
Please.
about Rudy Giuliani and Sidney Powell and some of the other legal team Trump has got. Of course, Sidney Powell's a lawyer, Rudy Giuliani's a lawyer and a politician. And as a result of being a politician, I don't much trust him. But surprisingly, Sidney Powell is shining through this thing.
Mm-hmm.
The press conference they had the other day absolutely floored me. And if, in fact, they have the evidence that they claim they have, Sidney Powell said it was coming in like out of a fire hose.
Yeah.
I think a case can be made in the various state courts, some of which have been dismissed already. And, of course, they're in appeals. I think that was part of the plan all along. I think Trump has got a two-headed spear in his defense. Point number one, if he can get this tossed
that it can't be relied on. Right.
Have been ordered in several places.
The audit is what you need.
I think audits are called for
Yeah.
if you see big discrepancies.
Well, then look at all the evidence they're getting from a place like Georgia, where their Republican, the Republican governor and Secretary of State have guaranteed that this was the best run election ever. They found about 3 envelopes worth about 8,000 or 9,000 votes, most of which were somehow missed, and most of which were very, very heavily weighted towards who? Donald Trump. So who are you going to trust here?
Well, this is the same Georgia that spawned the likes of Stacey Abrams.
Oh, yeah.
So, what kind of confidence are you going to have in that?
Yeah. All right, my friend, I think we've come to the end, and I am just so glad that you have straightened out your hemorrhoids. It was worrying me all week, and I will never forget that moment. And I will try
that image should haunt you, Dave.
It is haunting me. Can't you tell? I mean, it is haunting me.
But I'll take your word for it.
I
Dave,
thought about
bless
that a
you.
lot.
Love your show. Love talking with you.
All right.
Keep up the good work.
All right. God bless you, JJ. Thank you for being my opening act. You are the best. Okay. And, the dogs were not ours. No, those were not our dogs.
No, we don't have that kind of sound effect. At least not yet.
We got cats, though, don't we? We have a cat somewhere?
I've got a cat somewhere.
I know.
Here.
I know.
Let me find it.
This
here.
is for people that get wisecracked. So.
Oh, hold on, I'm not finding it. I'll
How do you not know where our cats are?
They wander around all the time.
Oh God, are you sure it isn't on your other thing? That is a wonderful cat.
Can't have any dogs without cats, right?
No, it's not fair. Absolutely. I was a cat person, actually, at one point, and then I married Lisa. There go the cats. She's a dog person, right?
Yeah, but I don't get your last joke, if that's what that was supposed to be.
No, I was a cat person. I loved cats. I don't know why. And they love me. Okay?
Because you're furry and
yeah.
well padded.
Yeah.
You make a good lap.
I'm not sure I understand that. Anyways, hi there, Chester. Thanks for calling the show. You called early. I was afraid that something happened that I should know about.
Did you read? Did you hear the message?
We had a slight issue on speaker.
You were off the air. You were off the air from right about a minute into J.J. Bradshaw until just now.
Really?
Yeah, we made adjustments
so
somehow.
12 minutes of dead air.
How did you're kidding me?
That's terrible.
How did that
speaker?
happen?
I'm not sure, but I made an adjustment and all that, and it fixed it. So.
You're streaming. I'm getting the signal fine, but there's nothing, no sound.
Okay.
It should be coming through now that we're getting comments that it fixed it.
Yeah,
so.
you're coming
live
now,
radio.
But, for
what
12
can I tell
minutes
you?
of
that's why I wanted to talk to him.
Streaming. It was for 12 minutes. It was just dead air.
All right. Sorry.
That's not your fault.
Well, we'll look into it. All right. Okay. Thanks, Chester. Hi to Martha.
Yep.
All right. Take care. Well, that's great. Did I do my monologue? I wonder.
Yeah, it must have cut off. They said into part of what JJ was saying and all that. So then I made an adjustment and it fixed it back up. So
was it on Facebook cut off?
No, nope, just on speaker.
Spreaker.
Yep.
It was on
Spreaker. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well.
But that'll be fixed when I.
Okay. Hey, Spreaker guys out there, I don't know what happened. Okay, if it's Spreaker, is that Espanol? Or is it English?
I don't believe.
Somebody from Spreaker, give me a call. Are you speaking Americano? In English? English? All right. I don't know.
But luckily, when I adjust the audio after the show, it'll fix that on the podcast. So, which, by the way, you can get this everywhere you can find podcasts after the show is over.
You know, I want people to really know how I feel about this thing, and so I want to hear from that great philosopher way back in the 70s, not the 1870s, not the 1770s, not the 1970s, and that would be Mr. John Belushi. We need to hear from him. Okay?
Nothing is over until we decide it is. Was it over when the Germans bombed Pearl Harbor? Hell no!
German? Forget it, he's rolling.
And it ain't over now. Because when the going gets tough, the tough get going. Who's with me? Let's go! Come on! Ah! Where's the spirit? Where's the guts? Huh? This could be the greatest night of our lives. But you're gonna let it be the worst. Oh, we're afraid to go with you, Pluto. We might get in trouble. Well, just kiss my ass from now on! Not me! I'm not gonna take this! Murmur, he's a dead man! Marmalade, dead! Niedermeyer, dead! Pluto's right. Psychotic, but absolutely right. We gotta take these bastards. Now, we could fight them with conventional weapons. That could take years and cost millions of lives. No, in this case, I think we have to go all out. I think this situation absolutely requires a really futile and stupid gesture be done on somebody's part. We're just the guys to do it. Let's do it. Let's go!
Go, go. Okay, we got to have that kind of spirit. I'm serious. Now, it's stupid and all that. I realize that. It was Animal House. But, and goofy and all that. But we have to have that kind of spirit in this country, or we're going to lose it. We're going to lose the whole thing. I mean, what a great country. You're so close now to the socialists taking over. It's incredible, all right? So not only do we have to focus on Trump getting in, not because he's cheating, but because he is trying to stop the biggest election theft in the history of the world. And it is. I mean, I believe the proof. Now, if they don't have the proof, and it goes into court, and the court says this is all made up, all these affidavits you have are made up, blah, blah, blah. All right, that's one thing. Then I'd have to reimagine, I guess, what I think. But right now, I can't see that happening. I can see this is going to be tough for a court, even one that favors Biden, to overrule.
I have a friend who I have on Facebook, and he is a liberal, very anti-Trump, but he's a numbers guy. And he came out the other day and posted a video and said, this guy presents, and this is before the press conference yesterday, this was a few days ago, and said that this guy here presents a really good representation of why the numbers do not work.
Exactly.
When people like that start talking, you know you got something.
Yeah, and most liberals wouldn't be honest enough to point that out. I would like to think that I'm honest enough to look at a fact and say, okay, that's a fact.
Yeah.
All right? We didn't do that right.
If this,
we weren't accurate.
If the shoe was on the other foot with this, I'd be sitting here sweating, thinking, "Oh my gosh, this might get overturned because of all the fraud." But the fraud's all on the one side.
I think they're starting to get real nervous, and I don't think they really care whether it's right or wrong.
I think it's
all about power,
right? Yeah, which is scary.
And many of them, not all, but the majority. They want this power, and they're willing to do anything to get it. Look what they did for the last 4 years.
Well,
5 years.
Giuliani was on Hannity last night. He said the very same thing. He said there's some really good Democrats who want to be truthful and all that, but he said there is a large group of them that just want power, and it's scary.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, he just said it flat out.
Let me just mention this. If you want to call the show, it's 573-578-2700. 573-578-2700. Call and get it off your chest, for God's sakes. I know a lot of you guys out there are steaming hot
I live my life that way, although I'm just a little shy guy at home, as my lovely bride knows. What are you looking at me like that for? Oh, no. No, keep the claws in. Keep the claws in. Stop. Stop right there.
I must have misheard you.
Well, see, there you go.
That's only for women to women. You guys got your stereotypes.
No, I don't believe that's true.
Yeah,
I believe that.
I don't know. Anytime a woman brings her claws out, I go run. I don't care if it's my wife or who it is.
This is my defense. So what do I get in my defense? I mean, this is what I get in my defense. Ah! Oh, what did you bring? You can't bring that whip here, for God's sake.
Like it.
Whoa! Oh, man, that's not good. You know, I don't know how we're going to do this show if we ever have to televise it, because I don't think you can whip me in public and avoid. Ow! God, stop it! You can't do that.
We'll cover up the lashes.
You're gonna. No. There'll be no covering it up because it'll be on tape.
Show them off.
Huh?
Show them off. We'll do a little YouTube action and make sure everybody can see the damage. Okay?
No, that's not right.
This might get pretty serious here.
I'm already getting mentally damaged right now just listening to this.
Way too late for that.
All right, so let me tell you about the show. We just had J.J. Bradshaw. In case you were on Spreaker when that happened, you can always go to the podcast and listen to it afterwards. It was an excellent discussion with J.J. Bradshaw.
And we correct the audio from the mixer, so that little glitch will not be there later.
So he's a 252-year-old man. He got a lot of knowledge in that. Upcoming, we've got Rabbi Moshe. He'll be on in a minute or so. Elad Hakim, the legal expert, the Perry Mason to the Dave Weinbaum Show, who I described one day, and then the next day, or that same afternoon, Trump was using that in one of his rallies. He says, you know what, I'm the Perry Mason here in this campaign, because he's tripped up Biden into admitting he was going to get rid of oil and all this other stuff.
It was literally the same day or the very next day.
No, it was the same day.
It was amazing.
I was listening on TV after the show, about ready to go into my coma, which I do after the show because I work really hard on this thing. And all of a sudden he's out there saying, yep, it was a Perry Mason moment, folks. I was Perry Mason. So either that's on his mind or he was listening to the show. I believe that's people in his...
I think somebody was.
I believe that.
Or somebody quoted somebody who had listened somewhere. It made its way around.
Let me tell you, there's a lot of angst about a lot of things, but Fox News has become like fixed news. Now, that's not entirely true, but it is amongst certain people. For example, Neil, what's his name? Caputo, right? Or Cavuto. Yeah, he seems to have been, I don't know, it's maybe he was like this all the time. Chris Wallace, one of the most awful exhibitions of being somewhat of a moderator. I mean, who thought up his questions? It was ridiculous. Joe Biden must have thought him up. And this guy, I know, I've met him. I've talked to him. I was in his office. And it seems like a decent guy, but that was 10 years ago, it was 14 years ago, and
people change,
noticeably changed, noticeably pro Biden and anti-Trump. I mean, why can't you just do a moderation and give them questions that are relative to the election? Not one of these people in all of the experiences of these debates and town halls talked about foreign policy. Why? Because Trump is killing it there. For goodness sakes, 3 Nobel Prize nominations. He's got Arabs and Jews signing up. This is like cats and dogs loving each other. See, it can happen, honey. Cats and dogs getting together.
Good grief.
There you go. All right. Charlie Brown is coming up. Don't worry. It's going to be on next week, I hear, for Thanksgiving. And everybody's going to be home. Why? Because we're all going to be locked in. By the way, Christians, I want to ask you this. Christians, if Jesus was on a lockdown at the Last Supper, would he be scanning the room and saying, I'm sorry, but 3 of you are going to have to leave. Would that happen? Because it's
if he
10.
followed the lockdown order, but Jesus was kind of a rebel with certain things, so he may have just said no anyway.
Yeah, he could have refused it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
because I posted a thing on my Facebook saying that according to the Fourth Amendment, we have the right to, congregate in our own homes, and they can't come in without a warrant.
Well, that's what they're going to do.
They're going to try to.
They're going to try to come home now. A lot of
but they already have sheriffs. They already have sheriffs saying they're not going to follow that. So
it's incredible what's going to happen. This thing you say, well, it's just masks and it's just they're trying to stop the. Listen, we listened to that when they said we have to do this.
Yep.
At first, because we don't know if we're going to have enough beds. We don't know if we're going to have enough equipment. Okay, national emergency, 15 days or whatever it was supposed to be. That's it. That's all you get. The rest is pure unconstitutionality, in my opinion.
No, I'm with
all
you.
Right, call the show, 573-578-2700. And before I get too far ahead, let's go to Rabbi Moshe Rothchild in Efrat, Israel. Hit it.
Yeah, 1 second, Dave. You were talking to another rabbi? Sounds like you're cheating on me.
No, actually, I'm cheating with you on him because he was the first rabbi. Listen to this. I got rabbis fighting over me. This is kind of weird. Ladies and gentlemen, second most powerful person in Israel and his own home, according to his wife Yonit, a not-for-profit prophet, and the rabbi to Missouri and the Dave Weinbaum Show. Please welcome from Efrat, Israel, Rabbi Moshe Rothchild. We're waiting for applause. Okay, Rabbi, 91% of Israelis think Biden will support Israel. The guy's name is Aaron Reich, and he's got just a couple years' experience as a writer. What's this about? It was some kind of a university poll.
Yeah, well, look, at the end of the day, Israel survived 8 years of Obama, so we can manage 4 years of Biden, although we all know he's not going to last 4 years. But Israel always has to somehow, no matter who the U.S. president is, do our best to forge a strong relationship with him. Now, lately, of course, with Republicans, with Donald Trump, it's been very easy. With Democrats, not so simple. When Joe Biden was here, when he was vice president, there was a whole uproar. I don't know if you remember, they announced we were doing some building here in Jerusalem, and Joe Biden thought it was an insult to him. But look, this week, our president reached out to him, President Rivlin and Netanyahu called him. Yeah. So we'll make do. We'll make do. You know, at the end of the day, we'll be fine.
Do you think President Trump was miffed?
Regarding what? Regarding the election,
Netanyahu calling Biden.
Biden getting a call from Israel.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think this is why our leadership here waited so long, because they really appreciate everything that President Trump has done, and they didn't want him to get upset, not to slight him, but as, the days went on and world leaders were congratulating Biden, I think Israel felt a responsibility to do so.
There was some backlash on social media against Netanyahu for that. I can tell you that for sure. Anyways, let's go on to the next thing. The Palestinian Authority and Israel restarting the relationship. Now, I think this is brilliant myself. The Israel is going to pay him the $900 million. Allegedly, they were supposed to pay him anyways, and then they're going to have peace talks. Is this maybe the first step to the Palestinians getting in the Abraham Accord?
Yeah, it's funny you mentioned it. I was thinking the same thing, and I think this is all a result of the pressure that they're feeling from the Arab nations around them that are opening their doors to Israel and normalizing, and they're starting to feel, hey, we're really missing the train, and maybe they're going to jump on board and be much more realistic about what they want than they have been in the past.
I can tell you I can tell you who doesn't like this. Hamas is very, very pissed off.
Yeah, they are. They came out very strongly against the Palestinian Authority because of this. But you know what? They've tried to negotiate to form a unity between Hamas and the Palestinian Authority, but it's never worked. There's no way they're going to ever agree on anything.
And then there's Hezbollah, right? I mean, so between the three of them, they don't like each other, apparently. Good.
Yeah, what I tell people is, the greatest blessing is that our enemies hate each other more than they hate us.
There you go. Hey,
if they were unified.
Talking about a hopefully former enemy, Saudi Arabia, they're pressuring now Pakistan to normalize ties with Israel. Do you know about that?
That is right. It's amazing. Look, the leader of Pakistan has resisted, but the fact that Saudi Arabia is pressuring them to normalize, that's amazing. I'm not sure Pakistan's going to normalize anytime soon, but even just to have that conversation is incredible.
Yeah, amazing. Yeah, all over the world, it's like they're gonna subvert all the UN Israel haters. It's incredible.
Yeah.
Hey, so Pfizer. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
I was going to say that, the fact that President Trump did not win the Nobel Peace Prize, that is a travesty. Look what's happening. Pakistan, it's amazing.
Of course. Wait till Iran comes into the conversation. So Pfizer and Moderna are going to be competing to sell us the vaccine. And Putin is out there, and he's competing against Pfizer, a Greek Jew. Did you know that?
Yeah, I did know that. Yeah, I did know that.
So do we pick the guy with the alcohol, or do we pick the Greek Jew? That's what I want to know.
Well, I think Israel's trying to put a lot of pots on the stove. I read today or yesterday that we're negotiating with AstraZeneca, which is a British pharmaceutical, to get their vaccine also. So you don't want to put all your eggs in one basket. So we'll see.
Yeah, and not all your vaccines into one arm. You're going to have to be using a lot of your arms, both arms. You're going to be getting vaccines in both arms. There you go. Hey, so in the United States now, going back to the USA, the Jews were targeted in 60% of the U.S. hate crimes, Muslims 13% in the FBI stats for 2019. Does this surprise you at all?
No, it doesn't surprise me. Doesn't surprise me at all. Just because when you read the papers, you see something happening every day. So just like anecdotally, I just by reading the papers, I figured the numbers were through the roof. 60%. Jews are like 1% of the United States, yet 60% of the religious hate crimes are against Jews. Look, I post things on Facebook. I get hate messages.
Yeah,
I've been saving them. I want to put them into a book. It's amazing.
Of course, I get it here. Obviously, but so far it hasn't been awful. Are you going to lose some enterprising Israelis to Dubai? That looks like an amazing place, Dubai. And if you're a young Jewish entrepreneur, could you see losing some of those guys to Dubai?
I don't know. I think there's more partnerships going on. Like a friend of mine, they're running there's called Eddie's Travel from Israel. They're doing the first, trip of Israelis going to Dubai. They're already kosher for Passover hotels in Dubai. I think there's going to be a lot of partnerships. They're selling real estate here. Dubai real estate, they're selling it here.
How about that?
Crazy.
So there's this
Israeli produce was being sold in Dubai. We exported produce to Dubai already.
Wow. And Dubai, now, there's a lot of Muslims living there. Is that a Muslim country?
Yeah, well, it's interesting. It is, but it's a real mix of people. The Emiratis, meaning the actual citizens of the United Arab Emirates, is only like 10 or 15%. The rest are from all over the Middle East. But I was thinking of Dave, if they Dubai, we're ready to sell.
There's a Rabbi. There's a real anti-Semite. His name is Michael Jones, and he blames 3 specific Jews as responsible for the conflicted 2020 election. The Jew at Fox News who made the decision to go for Arizona early, and Netanyahu, who congratulated Biden, and a Jewish lawyer. Now, my question is this. How come I didn't make the cut? What the hell's the matter with that guy? Is he listening to me? My goodness.
You know what? It's like that guy that said, I don't know, a year or two ago, said the Jews control the weather.
Yeah, whether we like it or not.
Dave, I don't even know how to use the thermostat in my house. I certainly don't.
Rabbi, I've got another question about that, too. But other than DaveWeinbaum.net, where can people find and contribute to you?
Go to my website, IsraelAlliance.org. It's actually going to be down, I think, next week for a couple of days because we got a brand new website, but we have to transfer over. It has to be down for like 1 to 2 days, something like that. But they can check it out, IsraelAlliance.org.
All right, hey, Rabbi, why do rabbis dislike being called father?
Dislike being called what? I didn't hear you.
Why do they dislike being called fathers, like, the priests?
I don't know.
Well, they don't want any paternity suits. Ladies and gentlemen, Rabbi Moshe Rothchild, all the way from Israel. There is a newscast right now. Rudy Giuliani is on TV. You listen to it, okay? All right, Shabbat Shalom, my friend, and hi to you and even the kids.
Take care, Dave.
Bye-bye.
All right, all the best. Bye-bye.
All right, Rabbi Moshe, always great. He's been doing the show for like 11 years now, since I met him. With in your church, in your mom's church.
Yep.
Pastor Pat, the official pastor to the Rabbi Show,
which she has commented, by the way, saying it sounds good. So thanks, Mom, for that.
Oh, great! Thank you, Pastor Pat. Call the show 573-578-2700. Let's get jiggy with the guest here. That was Rabbi Moshe calling from all the way from Efrat, Israel. We've got Elad Hakim coming on at 10, Laura Loomer at 10:30, and Amy Cooper Hakim at 10:45. We've got a great show. We're going to fit you in, and here's one of our callers. This is like we deliver kind of thing. We're the
is that right?
We're the DoorDash of radio. You don't have to call me. I'll call you. What the hell? Hi there. Welcome to the show, Adolf. What's your name and where are you calling from?
Yeah, you know my name.
I know. I know more than that, buddy. I've been talking to Joanne, and
yeah, there you go.
There you go. I got stuff that you don't want me to know. So what's going on, my friend?
Mail-in ballots.
Yeah.
Mail-in ballots. Once you make something easy to do, then you just made it easy to become fraudulent.
Yeah.
And that's what happened. And the bad part about it is, once these ballots are counted in, however, for the election, recounting doesn't do any good because you're just going to count the same ballots.
Right.
You have to prove the fraud.
Well, the most important part of this case will be the affidavits, the actual sight and sound witnesses who were given instructions to do things that added to the voting or subtracted to the voting, whether you're a Trump or a Biden supporter. And as we probably can surmise by now, that there was a great deal of bias to get Biden elected and not Trump.
And Giuliani made that comment in that press conference yesterday. He said the affidavits are part of the proof, and that recounting doesn't do any good. You have to actually audit the votes to have them resampled, and then that's where you can actually go through and certify that they're correct.
Right.
There you go.
Yep.
That's the way it is.
All right.
Well, whatever it takes, I pray Donald Trump comes out on top.
Well, there's a lot of us out here, and you know what?
Surviving Joe Biden.
God forbid he should get in office. Biden won't be able to take he's going to get pressure from everybody. He might even get a little bit of pressure from the mainstream media, who says, you know what, you're not communist enough yet. When you gonna wear a red flag, the sickle thing, and all that. I mean, he's going to get stuff.
With you, I like the good old days. You know, way back when.
Yeah, when we didn't like communists.
When I was a little kid on my grandpa's farm.
Yeah.
Man, that was fun. My grandpa would take me and stick me inside one of the big tires.
Yeah.
And then roll me down the hill. That was a lot of fun.
Wow.
That was a good year.
So that's what happened to your neck.
Yeah, like I said, that was a good year.
Yeah, okay. Well, I'll tell you what. You know, I knew a golfer who was so unlucky that when they went to bury him, he lipped out. See that?
That one ain't bad either. Oh, by the way.
Yeah.
We don't have to worry about it here, but in California,
yeah,
all they have to do is, instead of calling it Thanksgiving,
yeah,
because they are only allowed 6 people, you're allowed 30 people for a funeral. Just call it a funeral for a turkey.
There you go. Yeah, funeral for the turkey. All right, I'm going to let you have the last laugh on that, all right? Thank you, Adolph. Okay. Hi to Joanne. Thank you so much for being on the show.
Hey, you guys have a great week.
You too. All right. We'll be on next week, too, I think. Yeah, we're going to be on next Friday. How about that? So what are we on right now? What are we on?
We are on Facebook, Twitter, also on the website.
Spreaker.
Okay.
Hopefully we're on
the
Spreaker.
website. Yep.
Twitter and Facebook. I'll tell you what.
Yep.
I did some...
also Periscope, I believe, too.
Huh?
Periscope as well.
I've done as much analyzing as I'm capable, and I think we were a big smash last week. I mean, the audiences on Twitter were amazing, and we need to get some more analysis done because I suspect that a lot more people are hearing it on Facebook and the other. You know, I don't have any information from the others, but I think we're surging.
Periscope is the Twitter platform.
Oh, it is?
For your
okay,
cool. Yep.
For your podcast.
Well, that killed that dream. Thank you very much.
I'm not sure how, but okay.
Yeah, it's very sweet of you to go that far. Okay, I think we got 5 minutes till Elad Hakim, the lawyer from. And by the way, we have Laura Loomer. Did I mention we have Laura Loomer on the show? I don't think I have.
I don't think so.
I was trying to.
I think earlier. Very quickly mentioned it, yeah.
I don't think I did. Laura Loomer's coming out at 10:30. Now, Laura Loomer just lost a race in Florida where she were to replace Nancy Pelosi's best friend, and she thinks she was cheated, and after this, I'm not so sure she wasn't. She is in Palm Beach West District where Trump voted for her, and who else? Rush Limbaugh voted for her. How about that? So isn't that something? She's very happy about that. And but what is she going to do now? I don't know. Is she going to return to being this amazing journalist? Is she going to continue in politics? We're going to find out. That should be very interesting. She's also got a huge amount of information about these mail-in ballots, since in 2018 she was the one covering the story of all the ballots that were in a Fort Lauderdale airport that might have just saved the election for Ron DeSantis and the Republicans in Florida. Okay? So she's not exactly a part of the audience. She's part of the game here, and she's an effective part of the game. Okay, so I think as of right now that since we got a couple of minutes, I think maybe we do 2 and 3 of the bits, please. The clips, I mean. Clips.
Peter Neffringer, tell me how he fits into all of this. Yes, well, he is listed as its former Admiral Peter Neffinger, or retired Admiral Peter Neffinger. He is president and on the board of directors of Smartmatic. And it just so happens he's on Mr. Biden's presidential transition team that's going to be non-existent because we're fixing to overturn the results of the election in multiple states. And President Trump won by not just hundreds of thousands of votes, but by millions of votes that were shifted by this software that was designed expressly for that purpose. We have sworn witness testimony of why the software was designed. It was designed to rig elections. He was fully briefed on it. He saw it happen in other countries. It was exported internationally for profit by the people that are behind Smartmatic and Dominion. We have evidence from 2016 in California. We have so much evidence, I feel like it's coming in through a fire hose. First of all, I never say anything I can't prove. Secondly, the evidence is coming in so fast, I can't even process it all. Millions of Americans have written, I would say by now, definitely hundreds of thousands have stepped forward with their different experiences of voter fraud. But this is a massive election fraud, and I'm very concerned it involved not only Dominion and its Smartmatic software, but that the software essentially was used by other election machines also. It's the software that was the problem. Even their own manual explains how votes can be wiped away. They can it's like drag and drop Trump votes to a separate folder and then delete that folder.
Okay, what timing we've got here. I don't know who this is, but again, I think it's a person who steals phones, but I don't know if that's a felony or a misdemeanor. We'll talk about that later, maybe. But right now, I think we should play his song. Ladies and gentlemen, powerhouse South Florida lawyer, expert on the law and politics, writes for the Washington Examiner, Epic News, The Federalist, and others. Please welcome the Perry Mason to the Dave Weinbaum Show, Elad Hakim. I hope this is you. Hi, Elad. How you doing?
That's funny. I was going to ask you, how do you know it's me?
I'll tell you how I know. I'm psychic. Actually, listen to me. I was going to be a psychic, but there's no future in it.
Gotcha.
Psycho, you mean?
Actually, I was going to be a lawyer, but I lost my appeal. Okay, enough of the jokes. I saw your name. I saw Amy's name because you stole her phone again. What the hell's the matter with you? I don't know. Can't you get your own phone? Anyway, we got a lot to talk about, friend. According to Alan, did you read the article that Alan Dershowitz wrote?
No, although I saw that he said that he thinks that Trump would be victorious if he went to the Supreme Court.
Really? Well, it seems to me like he was saying his only way to get to a decision is by the House because he's not going to win it in the other courts. So,
I mean, that sounds, listen, the chances of him reaching 270 are, it's not an easy road because he has to flip.
Well, my question is this. If these states declare winners, while he still has objections to the way things were done, that it was a fraud, does that override his ability to go to court and get that reversed?
I don't think so because it doesn't matter what the states declare, for example. Like Georgia yesterday declared Biden the winner.
Yeah, I think I just saw that.
Who cares what they declared? Nothing's been certified yet. And Jenna Ellis, one of Trump's lawyers, came out and said the same thing. Who cares what they say? As a matter of fact, I think that Trump's team is going to file a major lawsuit today, a federal lawsuit, today or no later than tomorrow in Georgia, with a whole bunch of alleged violations. So no, just because the state says, yeah, Biden won, doesn't mean anything.
Well, why a federal lawsuit? Why is this a federal lawsuit?
I'm sorry, I didn't hear you.
Why is this a federal lawsuit?
Well, we'll have to see what the allegations are. But, one of the big differences is, if you look at Pennsylvania, for example, the Supreme Court recently ruled about the distance requirement, and they ruled against Trump. The reason that is difficult to bring in front of the Supreme Court of the United States is because it's an interpretation of state law.
Yeah.
And a lot of times the Supreme Court is not necessarily going to overdo or get involved with how another court interprets a state law. So the Supreme Court in Pennsylvania interpreted the law. It was a foolish decision. It doesn't make any sense. But if you bring it on a federal level and it's a violation of federal law, then the Supreme Court is more likely to get involved. Again, we've discussed it before. In this case, the Trump campaign is probably looking at it from two different perspectives. One, from the legal perspective, let's see if we can establish fraud in a systemic fashion where we can show it in multiple states so that not only will the Supreme Court look at the case that's currently before it in Pennsylvania, but will the Supreme Court agree to hear one monster case that shows systemic fraud on a nation, not on a nationwide basis,
that would be
but
great.
In multiple states.
Here's why.
That's one thing.
Here's why, in my opinion, this would be good. Because they can show, if you can show coordination in about 6 or 7 states that shut down their voting at a certain time frame and then reopened it all of a sudden at a equally coincidentally time frame, that's a sign of interstate conspiracy, which would make it federal, wouldn't it?
Well, it would be federal if I don't know about interstate conspiracy. I mean, I'd have to look that up. It's going to be federal because it's a violation of election laws and potential fraud. I mean, if there was a plan, like Giuliani said, if there was a plan concocted in order to try to steal the election, then yeah, it's going to be federal in nature. If they can find federal offenses. And that's what they're trying to do. That's why they're filing in federal court now.
Yeah, I would think that there's a lot of, that's circumstantial evidence that with a couple of witnesses could easily become a federal crime. Conspiracy to overthrow a government? Come on.
Look, there's two different things. One, it's the evidence that you just pointed out is circumstantial. For example, yes, the servers all stopped at the same time. There were drops during the middle of the night. They all went to this. That's circumstantial. But evidence by way of affidavit and attesting to what people saw, that's direct.
Right.
Okay, that's direct evidence. And the media, the foolish media, doesn't recognize that. And neither do people on Fox and Tucker Carlson and all the rest of these people who are claiming that there's no evidence. That is absurd. It's legally incorrect. And
Tucker Carlson just didn't. He was mad because Sidney Powell refused to come on his show and tell him what the evidence was. I mean,
as she should. As she should. He's not entitled to the evidence.
Yeah, I agree with her. I agree absolutely. I mean, they did enough yesterday in the Newser, which I want to ask you about with Rudy Giuliani. They did enough there to present that they had a case, that they did have evidence, without actually having to produce a lot of it, only when they had permission from this one affidavit guy or gal, whoever it was, fine. They did what they needed to do to get America to understand where they were and what they were doing without having to blow the whole case open. Am I right?
I agree with you 100%. 100%. All these people think, let me ask you, if you were a litigant and you had powerful evidence and you had the entire media and world against you, would you disclose your evidence ahead of time?
Oh, hell no.
Of course not, because the media will run with it and will, turn it into a circus.
Right.
And you'd give the other side an opportunity to discredit you.
And you can embarrass the judges into voting wrong. Yeah, I agree. No. Do I think like a lawyer or not?
Well, you know what? It's not even thinking like a lawyer now. I mean, yes, of course, you think like a lawyer, but
what do I have to do? Beg you for a goddamn compliment?
It's just using common sense here. I mean, why would they possibly come out in a 90-minute press conference and start talking about disclosing the meat behind their case? Why would they do that?
Well, that's where I take issue with Tucker Carlson, and he'll get over it. He's pretty good mostly, but that was not a brilliant moment for him. So talk about the news conference. How was Rudy? How did he do?
Look, I thought the news conference was really powerful. And again, it's twofold. They're showing it is legally and then public perception, because they want to exert pressure and keep in the back of people's minds that there is fraud here, and they're going to prove it. Keep in mind, the state legislatures are going to hear this, the governors are going to hear this, members of Congress are going to hear this, and that's important, because if this turns out to be a contested election, and if Joe Biden doesn't reach 270, it could very well come down to the House or Congress to vote on this. And Congress doesn't have to accept, even if, for example, Georgia certified and sent their electorates to Congress to vote. Congress doesn't have to accept that. Congress can say, we don't accept it.
Yeah.
And so it's very important to continue to plant the seed in the minds of not only the American public, but everyone, that, hey, this is not a legitimate election.
Yeah.
And that's what they did yesterday. I thought it was very powerful. I thought Giuliani was fine. He's not necessarily always my favorite orator. I think that there are people who are a bit more polished and more powerful than he is. But I think he did well. I think Jenna Ellis was very powerful.
Yep.
And I think that Sidney Powell was great. You could hear it in her voice that she's pissed.
You're damn right. And it comes through.
She's pissed.
And it comes through
and
without...
Everyone should be pissed.
Without being...
And the funny part, Dave, is that Americans got it right.
Yeah.
That's the funny part. You can't look at this and say, man, how dumb the American voters that they voted for this. They didn't vote for this.
That's right.
The majority of American voters voted against this.
Our votes were stolen.
Disenfranchise millions of voters.
Millions of voters, their right to vote was stolen. And those who did it should be in jail.
What the Trump team is going to hopefully prove.
Well, I hope you're right. So is there enough time to do this? What about the... Yeah. Is there? I mean, there's not a lot of precedence for this, the Al Gore thing.
No, there isn't.
37 days for one sticking lousy state. Wait a minute, you live in Florida. So one beautiful state, the Sunshine State. You had Al Gore taking this thing to 37 days. What did they find? 151 more votes for who? Bush. And they found out later, and when they demanded to do a whole state recount, that Bush actually won by thousands more.
I'm so proud of Florida. I'm so proud of Florida that
we're not
in the limelight this time.
Now I'm going to be talking to guess who I'm going to be talking? Your neighbor down in Palm Beach there, Laura Loomer here. My next interview, and she thinks she got her race stolen via this.
Oh, really? I don't know. I didn't hear about that. I mean, Florida was pretty...
Aren't you in West Palm Beach District 21?
I am, but I haven't heard anything about that particular race.
All right, well.
I've been focusing more on the presidential race and the Senate races, and how the fact that Georgia, although there are thousands of votes that are being discovered now, those won't apply to the Senate race because of some law that was changed not too long ago, where it said you had to pick one race that's applied to. So all those votes, they're not applying towards the Senate race. That's why there's still a runoff.
Well, whatever the race
I don't know if
is,
you knew that.
How about that? Is there a Republican governor and a Republican Secretary of State there? Yeah, there is, isn't there?
Yeah, but it's a joke. It's a joke.
Well, yeah, I know it's a joke. It's a bad joke. But they were all up there saying, no, this is the most clean race we'll ever see. And now they're finding caches of votes all over the place. Most of them
Not only
going
that,
towards Trump.
They were supposed to audit the votes. And so what do? They recounted votes. Doesn't matter that the votes were apparently illegal. They recounted illegal votes and then said, hey, there were no discrepancies. That's not an audit.
Right.
That's not an audit. An audit would look at signatures,
recounting the same
signatures,
wrong
look at
votes.
any deficiencies and defective
Right. You have to have
a vote or a
witnesses
ballot.
to them
happen.
being signed and filled out correctly, mailed at the right time, and all that other stuff, don't you? And you have to have cooperation between.
It's based on the law of the state, but an audit would look at all that. Yeah.
Right.
They didn't do that. They just recounted invalid votes.
So what they're doing is they're even on the recounts they're cheating, and they're cheating in open too. So talk about the mail-in votes and why those that are unsolicited are bad.
Because there's no way of verifying. I mean, that was Trump's entire concern. Is that, for example, I think that in our house we got 5 ballots sent to us. 5, so if you can't verify, or if there aren't strict procedures in place to verify, unlike when you go in, for example, when you go in to vote, they ask you for ID.
Right.
They ask you, or they ask you to sign in front of them. They compare your signatures.
Right.
That doesn't happen when you have a mail-in ballot.
Right.
Mail-in ballot, we got 5 at our house for each person. You sign it. Who knows who's filling it out?
You got 5. You got 5 ballots in your house.
And if somebody in my house doesn't live here, or if someone passed away, how do they know?
They don't.
Seriously, how do they know who's signing it? That's the problem. Look in Nevada now.
Right.
Look how many dead people voted.
Yeah.
Look how many people allegedly voted in Nevada that voted in other states.
That's been going on for a long time. And the difference between then and now is that this is so massive.
Trump called it.
What did he call it?
Trump called it. He called it from the beginning. He said it's going to cause a disaster. Jim Jordan, all these people, they wrote letters early on. They said it was going to cause a disaster, and that's what it did.
Well, they even had Democrats up in arms against Dominion. I don't know if they were up in arms against the unsolicited mail-in ballots, but they certainly were commenting. Elizabeth Warren and Klobuchar, Maloney. They were all complaining about Dominion and its inaccuracies.
Correct.
So
Dominion's got a history, and Democrats were complaining about it.
Yeah, it's incredible.
And I just found out today there was a presser from members of the House in Pennsylvania.
Yeah.
Dominion was apparently supposed to come and testify today, publicly provide information relating to the different allegations. And last night, Dominion lawyered up and canceled the appearance today. So
that's interesting because if Giuliani and his group made up all this stuff, Dominion's got a hell of a lawsuit. But then there is one thing in lawsuits that we all should know. It's called discovery, isn't it? And that would be
if
that would be
hell.
hell.
File suit.
Yeah.
If they're, who was it? Was it Shannon Beam? Another disaster on Fox?
She's a disaster. Shannon Bream or Martha McCallum?
One of them recommended yesterday, I think, after the presser, that Dominion consider suing some of the lawyers on Trump's team for, I think, defamation and stuff like that. That's absurd.
Huh.
That is absurd. I mean, you're right what you're saying. If these people are making these accusations and they're not true, I think their careers are going to be in jeopardy. But they're not the type of lawyers that would do that. Sidney Powell is not the type of lawyer that would make assertions like that without having some sort of basis for it.
Well, you have this group of Lincoln Republicans who are lawyers, one of whom is George Conway, the husband of Kellyanne Conway, who are out there threatening Trump's lawyers with all sorts of stuff, and that's why some of the Trump lawyers have quit.
Yeah, isn't that scary? Isn't that
that's
just
very
shameful?
scary.
I didn't know that George Conway was involved with it. I know that Lincoln Project is very much against Trump, to say the least. And it's shameful that some of the lawyers have been threatened, doxxed. Some of the people in Michigan, the two people of the commission that voted against certification were threatened. It's very, very sad. It's unfortunate, but in times like this, you just have to stay as strong as you can. I mean, I know it's easier said than done, but you have to, or our country is going to be not going to be the same.
I think you're right. I think it's going to be nasty for a long time, but I think we have to stand up for our rights as American citizens, or we're going to lose this country. All right, my friend. Other than DaveWeinbaum.net, where can people find and hire your sorry tookus?
They can find. I don't know if they're going to want to.
Did I say that?
That description,
honey? Did you say that? I'm sorry. I apologize. That's wrong.
They can find you. They can find me at.
You're going to find me. You're going to hurt me. I know.
They know where to find you. They can find me at Thoughtfully Conservative on Facebook, at Thoughtful GOP on Twitter, and just look me up with any other questions.
Hey, Elad, did you hear about the chicken who couldn't avoid the axe?
No.
His efforts were paltry. Were paltry. Ladies and gentlemen, the big chicken eater himself, Elad Hakim. Shabbat shalom, my friend. And I guess I'll be talking to your better half here in a little while. Shabbat shalom.
Have a good weekend, and I'll look forward to hearing you speak with my better half shortly.
There you go. You're going to be listening in. I better behave. All right, thank you, my friend.
Happy Thanksgiving.
See you well.
Bye-bye. Okay. Any calls during that, or no?
No.
Anything on Facebook, Twitter, anything?
Nothing.
Show's coming in okay, right?
Yep.
Whew, good. All right, great. I think we play another 2 clips of.
Well, we did have one comment. Somebody saying
that
we're pretty full of it, and I'm not going to say the last word they put in, but
I missed that one.
Full of kindness.
That's not the word they use.
Kindness and generosity.
We'll just go with that. Yeah.
No, go ahead and don't say the words if they're nasty. But what did it say?
Well, let's say it's that you people are just full of caca.
Oh, well, okay. All right, well, whatever.
We're used to being insulted. Come on.
Is that the best you can do? I heard you tried to donate your brain to science, but they were only taking used ones. How's that? I don't take the broom out of your hands when you're trying to do your job.
I wonder if that's Pelosi in disguise or something.
I don't know. I think she'd be wasting her time on me. Oh, by the way, last night, my good old friend Sebastian Gorka, he's on. My wife is already moaning. He's on. What do they call it? Parlay. It's Parler, or it's pronounced
Parler.
Parlay.
Yeah.
And I'm on there too, and I'm still on Twitter. I'm still on Facebook, although I don't, particularly like them at all. But he's out there now lambasting his old friends at Fox. Now, this guy, I invited him on my show a long time, about 3 years ago, 2 years ago, I forget. And when he didn't respond, because he was following me on Twitter, and I was following him, I wrote to him and says, can I get an answer? And he took umbrage at that. Maybe that's him now. He took umbrage at that. So, all right, I'm going to talk about this later. Remind me, will you? Hi there. Welcome to the Dave Weinbaum Show. What's your name? Where are you calling from? Hello? I guess they didn't want to talk to me.
You have one comment on here.
Yes.
Somebody, TT's, said that Dana Perino suggested filing suit. I think that was what Elad might have been talking
really?
about.
Yeah, I don't think it was.
He was searching for names for Shane
I don't think it was. I even doubt it was her, but I'd have to listen to that. But I doubt it's. What's her name now? stream. Well, God, my mind is going to crap because I know her. I've talked to her, and she was the nicest person at Fox that greeted me. Laura Ingraham was a real nutcase that I thought, but I like her too. I don't dislike her. I like what she does. I don't care about what they do. If they do something right, I'm gonna do it. I've had Sebastian, like I was saying, I pressed the issue. I said, "So are you going to answer me?" And they got all nasty and all, and it's like, "How dare you? How dare you pressure me?" And it was only one time, and then he blocked me on Twitter. So last night when he was complaining about Fox, I made a comment, and I said, I find it really interesting that you, who were a Fox News star at one point, now has taken on Fox. And I remember when I was just a lowly radio announcer, who obviously I'm in business too.
Right.
But still, but I could have been for all he knew. All right. A guy just trying to make a living and stuff like that in the radio business. And contacted him to be on my show, which I would think is a nice thing, not a bad thing. And I, tried to get an answer out of the guy, and he just took umbrage. So I said, I remember the phone conversation of me trying to get you on the not the phone conversation, but the offer on Twitter, and how you reacted, and I says, you know what, I just wish you the best of life, you a-hole. Now this guy is 6'8". I'm 5'3". I'm 5'3", right, honey?
You used to be 5'4" when I married you.
That's right. You're just beating me down. You're just beating me down every chance you get. You know what? Those whips hurt.
Okay.
They hurt, and they make my back cringe, and I'm losing height.
We have another follow-up.
All right.
It is that Perino said it on the 5 yesterday.
Perino said that on the 5,
Yeah,
huh?
that's the follow-up.
That's kind of. I wonder how, in what context. Whether they
I don't
could
know,
do
honey.
it or not do it or
I'm
what.
sure you can Google that after the show.
Well, yeah, not right after. I'm busy after the show. I'm working drive-through, and then I'm going to my daughter, who gives me the daughter Sarah.
Then you can Google it anytime you want.
And she gives me the deep massage, so therefore I don't have to have my knees replaced. I am 72 years
somebody
old.
Please call the show.
573-578-2700. My wife is getting lonely. She wants to talk to you. All right, so while we're waiting for our next call, how about playing some clips? How about 4 and 5?
We are collecting evidence now from various whistleblowers that are aware of substantial sums of money being given to family members of state officials who bought this software. I mean, we're talking about $100 million packages for new voting machines suddenly in multiple states, and benefits ranging from financial benefits for family members to sort of what I would call election insurance. Because they know that they can win the election if they are using that software. It's really an insidious, corrupt system, and I can't tell you how livid I am with our government for not paying attention to complaints even brought by Democrats, Carolyn Maloney, Elizabeth Warren, Amy Klobuchar, over the last several years in written letters with expert reports and some documentation of how corrupt this software is, and nobody in our government has paid any attention to it, which makes me wonder how much the CIA has used it for its own benefit in different places, and why Gina Haspel is still there in the CIA is beyond my comprehension. She should be fired immediately. Well, the CIA and the FBI and other government organizations have received multiple reports of wrongdoing and failures and vulnerabilities in this company's product. Their own manual, if you sat down and read it, would explain how and why no honest person would use this system. And it's not just Dominion. There are other companies in the voting machine business in this country, too, that may very well and are likely using the same software. We've detected voting irregularities that are inexplicable and align with these problems in other states that think they have valid systems. But the people who bought the Dominion system for sure knew exactly what they were getting. It should never have been installed anywhere. And we are going to show the public exactly how rotten the entire state is.
Okay, that I don't know if I announced it or not, but maybe people don't know who that is. That's Sidney Powell. She is on the team, on Trump's team now, a very, very important aspect of which she's gathering a lot of evidence. She says she's gathering more evidence than she can handle. It's like a fire hose coming in. They're not having to really go out after it. And she says, I never go to court without proof. So.
Well, and not only that, not only do they bring to me enough evidence, which I agree with Elad, you don't present the evidence. It was like back in the 2016 campaign, and they asked Trump, well, what's your strategy to get rid of, ISIS and all that? And he said, I'm not going to tell you because then they got a leg up on me.
Yeah.
You don't put all your cards out
Right.
there, but they did enough to show, hey, here's an affidavit they let us show.
Yeah.
This is evidence. Every lawyer will tell you that, and nobody's wanting to recognize it.
And they went.
I just don't get
they went for 5 years with
Perjury.
absolutely no evidence on him. It was an overthrow of the government, and we've got Biden and Obama both in a meeting on January the 5th, trying to figure out how they're going to get rid of this guy via even the Logan Act. Now, the Logan Act is contacting foreign governments. What do you think Biden's been doing since the election? And I'm not going to say president-elect because he isn't.
Nope.
All right? He's been talking to foreign governments.
He's been talking to China quite a bit. We know that.
I'm sure. I'm sure. And he's not ordering chop suey either. No, he ain't doing that. No. So I've got, let's see. I got a little time before Laura Loomer. It's about a minute. Hopefully she'll be on time. And that should be a very interesting conversation. But while she's going to dial the phone, and let's see. How about the Sicilian moment? Can I get a Sicilian moment?
It's okay to have bated breath as long as you don't swim with the sharks. Forget about it.
I was talking to Liz about that because she wanted to swim with her shark, the shark that saved her from Cuba. And I says, you got to watch what you eat before that. You can't be eating those tuna fish sandwiches and tempt that shark like that. You just can't do it because the shark's going to mistake it for real tuna, and that could be real dangerous. And you can't blame the shark because that's his instincts, So you don't want to tempt somebody who is docile into being evil.
Right.
That's a good thing to know, huh?
Right. No, I
you
agree.
don't want to.
I agree.
Don't forget about that.
And don't worry, Liz knows what she's doing too
Right.
because she swam with them, all the way from Cuba. So
she didn't swim with them. She rode on the shark's back. So let's see. What do you got there? No,
we're still waiting.
Okay. If we have to wait any longer, then we might call her. But we're close. Anywho, I've got plenty of stuff. I never get to all the stuff I plan to do anyway, so what's the big deal here? So the schools have been closed by de Blasio and Cuomo. And the day before they were closed, some reporters on there saying, I hear they're planning to close the school, and de Blasio says, where'd you get that information? That's wrong. And started yelling at the guy. Sure enough, I guess de Blasio had made the decision and didn't inform Cuomo. So you've got all the schools, like 1 day notice, they're closed. And you got all the teachers union now, they're for this. One of the safest places in the world right now for a kid is in school. They're not likely, even if they catch it, they're not likely to even show any of the symptoms. They're not likely to get sick, and very few of them die. I mean, like almost maybe just a few 0.1 or 2%. When are we going to start living again? When are we going to start saying, look, enough is enough? We're going to have a vaccine here shortly. In December now they're talking about it. December, wow.
I know personally I never stopped living just because, I refuse to do that. So
if you get sick, you get sick. I mean, how long have we had the flu?
My wife's an RN, has been for almost 20 years, and she even said the best way to build up antibodies is to be exposed to something. That's what the flu vaccine is.
Well, you don't want to
build up a tolerance.
You don't want to be locked up in your house. Now, I have Hi there. Welcome to the Dave Weinbaum Show. I think I know who this is. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
This is Pastor Pat.
Oh, Pastor Pat. Okay. All right. We're going to have to hang up on you pretty soon because I got Laura Loomer calling me, I think. But
yes.
But go ahead.
I just wanted to give you a scripture, in my line of work again. Here we go. But it's Colossians 1:13. The Father has delivered and drawn us to himself out of the control of the dominion of darkness and has transferred us into the kingdom of the Son of his love.
Okay. Well, thank you for that.
Delivered us from dominion.
Yeah. Dominion. How about that?
Hey.
That's a coincidence, huh? Pastor Pat is like the Christian prophet, along with. You just hung up on your mother.
I thought I saw Laura calling in, and she wasn't. So
okay. All right. Well, look her up on the phone and see. What I used to do is give a warning to people. Because, sometimes they forget. And I don't do that anymore because we have one phone, and that's mine. All right? In a class show like this, you think we would be able to, and it's just a matter of getting stuff done. So, which floor is she? Here. All right. I got it. Let's see here. There she is.
Technical difficulties.
I'm going to call her. Wait, I don't want to do that. All right. So.
Hello?
Is this Laura Loomer?
It is. How are you?
You remember me, right?
Of course.
Okay. Just wanted to know. Are you ready? Can I talk to you for a little bit?
Yeah. I can talk for about 10 minutes or so.
Okay. That's good. All right. So, ladies and gentlemen, former investigative reporter may have won her race against incumbent Lois Frankel, but she's the most banned woman in history and the bravest person I know. Please welcome Laura the Illuminator Loomer. There you go. So how you doing? Are you ready to take on the evildoers again?
Well, it's been a rough 2 weeks, to be totally honest. I mean, it's not too good what's been happening in our country with all this voter fraud, and I went from running a very fast-paced campaign, and now I'm just trying to process everything and decompress. So, takes a bit of time.
So, was your race personally affected by the Dominion voting machines in West Palm Beach?
Well, my race, what was weird about my race is that it was the interference that we had, obviously, was from the telecommunication companies and big tech. And when you look at the breakdown of the numbers, I beat Lois Frankel in in-person voting by nearly 23% on election day and early voting by 3%. And so she only, was able to get ahead of me in mail-in ballots. And so there's a lot of suspicion regarding these mail-in ballots.
Yeah.
And she didn't run a campaign. She didn't have any signs up. She didn't hold any events. She refused to debate me. And so I refuse to believe that, that those votes are valid. It's very suspicious, to say the least. And it just doesn't look right. And if you look at our internal polling and all the data that was collected in the weeks leading up to the campaign, I was supposed to be within striking distance, and I was within striking distance of her.
Yeah.
But mail-in ballots did the job for her, just like they did the job for Joe Biden, right?
Well, that's supposed to be controlled in the state of Florida. Now, I just heard from Elad Hakim up the road in Boca, and he claims that he had 5 ballots sent to him, and it's just him and his wife and 3 underage kids.
Yeah.
So is that the way?
Well, there were a lot of reports of people receiving multiple ballots, and that's the problem with mail-in ballots, right? Is there's no way to really verify them in terms of whether they're being sent to the right address, because people change their address all the time, and if someone has nefarious intentions, what's to say they're not going to fill out the 10 ballots that get sent to their home?
Well, I'm glad you took some time off to figure out what happened and what you did, and that you're not totally depressed by this. I know you're hurt, but still, you're going to learn so much from this, and you soak up information like nobody else. So what is it you're going to do from here on out? Have you thought of that, and where are you? What do you think you're going to be doing?
Well, I'm still thinking about what's next. I'm working on a book, and I am also planning on revamping my media site, Loomer.com, and doing some more investigations. But we'll see.
Okay, now wait a minute. Is it Loomer.com or Loomer US?
Loomer.com.
Loomer.com. Okay, did you change that? Did you have another?
No, it's the same. The same site is redirected, but it's been Loomer.com.
Okay, all right. I want to straighten it out because I have looked on it. So, are you going to be doing anything in the field of journalism?
Yeah, I'll be doing some of my exposés.
Cool.
But in the next few weeks, and probably after the holidays and into the new year, I'll be announcing what I plan on doing.
All right. Would you come on the show and let me know?
Of course.
Great. So let's throw a few more things in here until you have to stop. Secretary of State Pompeo says the State Department will ban U.S. funding for any organization that participates in anti-Semitic activities, including the boycotting of Israel. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, the BDS movement is directly tied to terrorist activity, and so we have laws in this country against aiding and abetting terrorist organizations, and the United States government recognizes Hamas as a designated terrorist organization. So I think that it's long overdue for organizations associated with BDS, whether it be Students for Justice in Palestine, another one of those fantastical organizations that advocates for Palestinian causes on college campuses while receiving funds from terrorist organizations. I mean, look, this needs to be shut down, and so none of these organizations should be receiving any type of funding. But we have another issue in this country where groups like CARE, which is a terrorist organization, they have tax-exempt status, right? So these organizations that are giving their money and have ties to Hamas, have ties to the Muslim Brotherhood, whose founding members have been sent to jail for participating in terrorist activity, they should not be able to, be classified as a charitable or, tax-deductible organization. And it's just shameful that that's happening here in our country. So it needs to be taken another step further.
Sure. Hey, Diamond and Silk, right? The Black Sisters who are big Trump supporters. Yeah. They just wrote a book, and they claim that Fox offered them $150,000 to drop Trump. When they refused, they were fired by Fox. Do you know anything about that?
Well, look, I've been telling people for years, and they didn't believe me. They thought I was just bitter when I was telling them about Fox News and the blacklist and how the management is liberal and how there is a lot of censorship internally. And now everybody's seeing that I've been right all along about Fox News. Look, some of the Fox News hosts endorsed me when I was running for Congress. Right. And I've heard stories of some of these individuals being dragged into the office by Fox management and threatened with being fired if they even said my name on TV or
could you name them?
Tweet about me.
Can you name them?
I don't want to name them right now, just because I don't want to, jeopardize them and their livelihoods. But like I said, I'm writing a book, and
I want to stop you right there because if they're on the air and they've got a show, I expect to hear the truth out of them. I don't expect to hear what top management says. Let top management go on the show and deliver garbage. I want to know what these people are thinking. That's why I'm tuning in. It's like, it's like bait and switch, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah, well, look, they like to promote themselves as being super pro-Trump, and they have no problem using President Trump to promote their poorly written books.
They made a fortune
always,
off of Trump,
advertising
an absolute
on
fortune.
TV. And, they have thrown him under the bus. I mean, look, Fox News was the station that called Arizona for Biden.
Yep.
And they themselves have created a disaster when it comes to the election with their poor reporting.
I would absolutely agree with that.
I definitely would say that it's bait and switch. It's false advertising because people are being duped into thinking that Fox News is on their side.
What about Newsmax and OAN?
I don't really watch either of them. I watch InfoWars most of the time.
Yeah.
I mean,
that's your buddy Alex
I've been
Jones.
on OAN once and have not been asked to come back on. I guess some people are finding Newsmax and OAN to be good alternatives, but I tend to watch InfoWars.
I know you got to go here. Hey, you're always welcome on my show. Okay, always. Nobody's telling me what to do here.
You're the best, Dave.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that, Laura.
Yeah.
Coming from you, that means a lot. Other than DaveWeinbaum.net, where can people find you?
Well, now you can go to Loomer.com, and that's where I'll be releasing some exposés, and people can follow me there and see my work.
Great. Hey, did you hear about the Army Casanova?
No.
Yeah, he was a bass player. Ladies and gentlemen, Laura, the Illuminator, a Weinbaum favorite, and God bless you, Laura Loomer. Appreciate you.
Well, thanks for having me on.
Okay, great.
Have a great weekend.
All right, you too. Okay, we're cutting it short today, and that's because I have another interview in about 10 seconds. All right, so that's the way it is. I tried and I did it right the last 3 or 4 times. I got them at 10:20 and at 10:40, so we'd have plenty of time. But Laura could only do 10 minutes, and my next one can only do about a little more than 10 minutes, so It's no big deal. It works out.
Now, if we have to go a little bit over, we can do that. We're not constrained to radio
That's right.
anymore.
We're not constrained to radio. Of course, my wife will complain. She'll want overtime. I don't know if you will, but,
I'm never against overtime.
Is that an option?
No, it's not an option. I give you money. I give you money, and I give you money to go get a massage.
Yeah.
You get a free massage out of there.
Oh, that's...
Hi there. Welcome to the Dave Weinbaum Show. I think I know who this is. I think we're going to play a little song for you.
Okay. Minnesota to the hills of Tennessee, across the plains of Texas, from sea to shining sea, from Detroit down to Houston, and New York to L.A. Well, there's pride in every American heart, and it's time we stand and say that I'm proud to be an American, or at least I know I'm free. And I won't forget the men who died, who gave that right to me, and I'll gladly stand up next to you and defend her still today. 'Cause there ain't no doubt I love this land. God bless the USA.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, this is Bad Boss Expert, motivational speaker, author. She's very conflicted about politics, sleeping, and social media. And she is the official shrink to the Dave Weinbaum Show. Please welcome Dr. Amy Cooper Hakim. There you go. Is Elad standing there? Because he should be eating his heart out right now. Because you got much more applause. Hey.
Oh, well, thank you.
So Lisa wants to know if it's okay to talk politics this Thanksgiving. And there you go. See, now there you go.
I think it really depends on the family. And generally, if you have people who are conflicting within a family environment, then probably not. But likely, depending on the geographical area, some people may not have such large gatherings. So hopefully the people under your roof are,
my wife wants to say something, and I allow her to say stuff on occasion.
You know how you talked about men listening to their women?
Uh-huh.
Well, my actual question was, how can we navigate those discussions or avoid them, or techniques or things to say to turn the conversation away from that? Because there will be a liberal person at our dinner table, and she likes to just shut down the whole conversation when anybody starts talking about anything political.
Can I say who that is?
No.
Well, I don't. All right, here's my point.
That's the actual question. Is
how can you?
Everything
is politics right now. Even your Thanksgiving dinner is going to be politics. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
You're stepping on me.
Was I stepping on you?
It doesn't have to be.
I'm sorry. Did you take over the show?
It really doesn't have to be. It's interesting. I really believe that there are certain things that we learn from our sages that help us in the current day. And so the traditional Sabbath meal for every Friday night, every Saturday lunch, should not include talk of money or politics. This has been for years and years and years. So a lot of people stray away from that and talk about it regardless. But if you think about things that cause us to not necessarily always feel happy, so when we're talking about things related to finance or perhaps, in this case, politics. So, I think if you're trying to have a fun family time where we're thinking positivity and not focusing on some of the negative stuff, then, it can definitely help. Even at our family dinners, we have teenagers, and they have their own strong views, and we encourage them to share what they hear at school. We have discussions. A lot of times what students are taught is generally very left-leaning. And so we'll have dialogue. But we also know that, sometimes it's not always fun to have that tense, terse interaction. Sometimes it's nice to just be thankful and grateful for what we have. And I think Thanksgiving is an opportunity specifically for that. It's a time when traditionally we're getting together, we're thinking about what we're grateful for. And, we are grateful, just like that song, Dave, when I sent that to you, I really felt something that day on, I recorded it for my mom, and I was like, oh, Dave will like this.
Oh, I love it. It's great.
In fact, but the thing is, I really felt it. I felt so proud to be an American. I felt so proud and excited about what was going to come. And I think some of the craziness that's happening right now, which has led me to even talk about politics on your show, but it really is overwhelming. And I think sometimes we just have to step back. It will still be there. It will still be there tomorrow. It will still be there, even after dinner. When it's okay to take a break. It's okay to realize that there's more than just that. And I hope that everyone is able to do that to an extent, because, we're going to have to, come up with some way to move past this, regardless of what the ultimate outcome is, regardless of who is upset, which side. I was talking to Elad last night about how, if this gets to the Supreme Court, why is it even a question of party line? Wouldn't it just be, this isn't fair, therefore? And it's not that simple. Life isn't black and white, right? There's going to be, and so we just have to say, let me stop and take a deep breath. How can I say, this is okay, this is something I can accept as for today, for this moment? I'm allowed to be agitated. I'm allowed to be angry with whatever is going on politically. I'm allowed to be angry with what's going on in our country. I'm allowed to be concerned that there might be a civil war, however you want to go. But this particular moment, I'm going to accept that I can't change those things, and I'm going to then further embrace what I can see in front of my eyes that I can be thankful and grateful for.
Okay, darling wife, do you have another question?
No, other than how to make you be quiet on Thanksgiving.
I didn't realize you said you wanted me to ask a question.
Therapy session.
You said you wanted me to ask a question. I did, and then you decided you took over the show.
Well, you asked the wrong question.
Go ahead.
You don't listen.
You've got to hear
Did you
one
say
another.
something? I'm
That's
sorry.
so important in any marriage, in any relationship.
Did she say anything? I'm sorry. I didn't hear her.
See, now
Did
he's
you turn off her mic?
Now he's talking over both of us.
Would you please?
Amy.
No.
I'm not getting in the middle of this one.
No,
she's right.
Love it.
All right. Anything else, honey? I want to make sure I'm done here. Anything else?
Oh, go ahead.
Oh, thanks.
Oh, no. One
Thank
more
you,
quick
darling.
comment.
Oh, I'm sorry.
We got a comment on the Facebook page for your song that you have perfect pitch. So,
oh, thank you.
Yeah.
I wanted to
Here's the
that.
problem.
Sweet.
I think it's got screwed up in the, there's a little bit of static on it. Maybe we
I
want
was actually thinking,
Yeah.
if you like that song, I can have Michael record it for me.
Why
He
don't
used
you?
his microphone the last time for that other song that you asked
That'll
me to
work.
record. So
Yes,
I'm happy
let's
to,
do that.
to redo it,
Wow,
a
that's
different
good.
time.
I mean, that was Acapulco, wasn't it?
Acapella.
Oh, acapella. I'm sorry. I don't know. Well, what do I know from Acapulco?
You got vacation on the brain.
Yeah.
Vacation on the brain.
Yeah, there you go. I wouldn't be going
Oh
there.
my
I'll tell you
gosh!
that
Don't
much.
we all? Don't we all?
Oh man, are you guys locked in, or they're not locking down Florida anymore?
No,
are they?
they will not lock down
Good.
Florida, but I will tell you,
Yeah.
we have a little bit of a different approach to that. We're still really very much at home.
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, we'll visit family and stuff, but stay outside and yeah. So we're we're here for winter break. We're planning to take a road trip to the Georgia mountains, which I'm pretty excited about.
Wow. Hey, go
Yeah.
there for the election. You can vote.
Oh gosh, yeah. Why don't we just move there? We'll change
For a while.
residency.
No, it's allegedly a felony. Elad would know that, I think.
I am so. I'm just enraged about what's going on. And I mean, I've not watched the news so much, I think, ever, probably since the Kavanaugh hearing. That's the last time I got so excited about the news. I'm just all over it.
Here's why.
Yelling at my TV screen.
Here's my take on this. My take on this is that, we're in a battle here of survival. We're Jewish people, and we always have the battle, okay? We always have the inner battle that how are we going to survive? And thank God we have, but maybe we could have done it better. Maybe if we had thought more of our outside forces, maybe if we had done more to protect ourselves, not so many of us would have perished. That's where I come from. That's paranoia, though. I mean, I think. Is that paranoia? I don't think it is. I think it's a reasonable take on history. That's where I'm coming from.
I mean, history repeats itself if we don't learn from it. And so
That's
we
what
have
I'm thinking.
to be able to look with as objective an eye as possible. To say this is what we see that worked. This is what didn't. This is what's questionable. So, if it happens once, it's a mistake. If it happens again, it's on whoever let it happen.
Well, you see, I think God, and I was thinking about this before the show. I kind of pray before the show, and I say, I appreciate everything you've done for us, and kept us alive and all this. And I also think that you want us, that you gave us these brains that think about what the problems are, and there is a solution to these problems. And if we don't try the solution, you're not going to help us. That's what I think.
Well, yeah, I mean, there are definitely different takes on that, on free will and on, using what we have in front of us to make decisions and learn from them. Definitely, I'm a huge believer that we're given what we can handle. Despite the fact that some challenges may be really, really too much, at that moment, oftentimes after the fact, you say, if that wouldn't have happened, I wouldn't be able to.
I think we're given. I think we're given what a lot of times what we can't handle, what we think we can't handle, but we got to try it anyways to survive. And a lot of times we find out, well, we actually can handle it.
Well, I think so many people give up.
Well, that's the problem, isn't it?
I think that it's crazy to see that the people just say this is too hard or this isn't the result I wanted, so therefore. We've got to teach ourselves, remind ourselves, teach our kids the importance of that perseverance and what that looks like ultimately. And here, I worry actually that people are going to get bored of this situation, the political election situation, and then turn off. And I think that, they need the strength and the power behind in that support to keep moving. So I'm just, like I said, really, hopeful. And we actually lit Shabbat candles early, the Sabbath candles. We lit them early, right before the election. They said that would help Trump.
Well, you know,
Somebody
look, in the long
Jewish
run,
circle said, if you're pro-Trump, light early on the merits of, everyone collectively lighting that he should be successful.
it's not the end
I
of the
think
world.
That
God
ultimately
forbid.
These numbers statistically are going to show that he
Yeah.
just completely blew it out of the water.
I
Once
think
we
he
get rid of
did,
some of those
and I
irregularities.
want people to understand it. I want them to all know what really happened. Okay, whatever happens after that, we can deal with it. Okay, if we all know what it is.
Yes, 100%. If
Yeah.
it ends up that he lost fair and square,
Right.
I think that I would be sad for it, but that would be okay. That's part of
I get
democracy.
it.
That's part of
Yes,
why we live
I
where we
get
live.
it too.
But it's the irregularity, it's the fraud or the potential issues that are causing me to not be able to sleep. Me to say, how can it be that I watched that whole hour and a half press conference yesterday,
So did I.
only to see, because I wanted to see how other news media recapped it. And I knew they were going to talk about the makeup running down his face and all that stuff. That's not the point. There was enough to be able to say, at least let's discuss whether this has merit, not that there is nothing to discuss. And I was so disgusted by it, as much as I was by the Kavanaugh hearing all those years ago, that led me to change my registration. So, anyway.
Well,
yeah.
I'm glad.
Gosh, you got me talking again. What's
Well,
up?
I'm sorry. Yes, are you still on deadline or what? Well, that's my job here, is to get you to talk, isn't it? I'm a talk show radio guy.
Good job.
See, we're better than Fox
Yeah.
News.
Well, I think we are, actually. I think this is a really good show. My own personal opinion is that you can listen to any show, and there's a lot of them, believe me, but I think we have great people in it, like yourself, like your husband. Cheryl Chumley, all the people are great. If I don't name them all now, I'm a dead man, I realize, but my mind is pretty much gone by the end of the show, so what the hell?
On, and I know Elad really enjoys it as well. And,
well, I enjoy it
you
too.
You
and
do a great service to your followers. So.
Well, that's very kind of you, Dr. Amy, and I really appreciate you and your husband and your great interviews and your great people. So I guess I end with that. Other than DaveWeinbaum.net, where can people find and hire you?
Thank you. You can find me at amycooperhakim.com, cooperstrategicgroup.com. My book, Working with Difficult People, is sold anywhere books are sold. Also, it's available by ebook and Audible. I'm on LinkedIn, Twitter, YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, and now Parler. Yes, I'm one of those, at Amy Cooper Hakim.
And ladies and gentlemen, she despises social media.
I do.
Despises it. I kind of had a love-hate relationship with it. You know, we're on Twitter. We're live on Twitter. We're live on Facebook. And,
wow. Excellent.
So, yeah. Did you want to say something, or you just...
Oh, no, we're good.
Oh, okay. Well, you pulled the mic to your face.
I wish you an uneventful and happy
Yes.
Thanksgiving.
And by the way,
How appropriate.
by the way, we're all going to be overeating. So I wrote a diet book. It's called 50 Ways to Lose Your Blubber. Oh, come on. That was pretty funny. You're laughing like crazy. You got to do crickets.
People love the crickets.
What the hell's the matter with you? Oh, my gosh. Oh, man. This is not good. I thought it was pretty funny. You could use that. All right, Dr. Amy.
You.
Shabbat
Happy
Shalom.
Thanksgiving. Happy Shabbat Shalom.
Happy
Thanks for
Thanksgiving
having
to you and the family,
Take
okay? Tell Elad I say Shabbat Shalom. Thank you.
You got it.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
All right.
Okay,
Do we got anything on Facebook?
We got a couple of comments.
Okay.
Steven says, thanks, Dave. I greatly enjoy your show and your wisdom and your humor and the exposing, the corruption, and the speaking of truth very much.
Ooh.
And then...
very nice. Thank you, Steve. Steve who? Does it say?
Gorman.
Gorman, but I don't usually do last names.
Okay.
But
yeah.
TT says... He's commenting on what Amy was saying. We must clean up our system of elections now. The so-called leader of the free world doesn't have third world elections.
Yeah.
And then JL commented that Amy would need to revise her song if Biden got in. Because no more freedom.
JL didn't call.
But the other comment we had was that TT's also said that you have awesome guests. So there you go.
Well, I think I have a caller.
Guests.
Yes, we do have awesome guests, and I'm very happy. Hi there. Welcome to the Dave Weinbaum After Show. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Well, this is after JL.
Jeez. You are out of bounds, my friend. All right, what do you got?
So busy, a guy can't get in to talk to you.
Well, I had a busy show. I have a busy show. I'm sorry. You gotta squeeze yourself in between the. I have times to call. I mean, you gotta squeeze yourself in between the interviews.
If I lose any more weight, I won't be able to squeeze myself in.
Well, that's why maybe you don't need 50 ways to lose your blubber.
There you go. There you go. Well, hey, great show, Dave.
Thank you.
I'm very concerned.
Yeah.
About this presidential thing. It's just, and we know it's crooked, but how are we going to get it taken care of? I'm very
Well,
upset.
you go to court. I mean, you do what you got to do, and you opine. You don't let people get away with any lies or anything. You fight back is what you do. It's my opinion. You don't just sit there and take it.
I agree, friend.
And look, I mean, it's like it's easy for me to say because I've been doing this all my life. For some of you out there, you're afraid you're going to hurt your family, yourself, your business, and all that. And at a certain point, you're not going to have your business, maybe your family, even if you let this country go to hell.
Well, that's like wearing a mask, Dave. I don't believe in it.
Yeah.
I don't wear them where I don't have to. Now, I'm going to be in Virginia with my son over Thanksgiving. I'm not supposed to go do that. You're not supposed to leave home, is what they're saying on the radio. Nonsense. I don't buy it. I don't buy the virus. I don't buy the whole ball game.
And guess what?
It is
your
people don't get.
It's your constitutional right to do this. And after that 15-day of putting us into lockdown, when it first came out in, what was it, May or April?
Yes.
That's supposed to be it, okay? Now, figure it out. If you want to stay at home, you stay at home. If you don't want to stay at home, don't stay at home. If you have to go somewhere and wear a mask, wear the damn mask. Who cares, okay? And I wear a mask. Why? Because all my people have to wear it. And I don't want, I don't think they do any good. There is no science to this. There's no science that says they work. My doctor thinks it works, okay? But he doesn't have the science for it. So I'm going to do it anyways. I'm going to play the game. I'm going to be a good boy. But I hate those things. I hate the hell out of them. And for me, I was talking to my doctor about, don't they hurt your oxygen intake? And he says they don't.
No, that's not true.
I don't think he's right.
It increases your germ welfare because you can't breathe it all out. So the mask holds it, and you get it back again.
And this lockdown thing, I think you need fresh air. You need a lot of fresh air. You need sunshine. You need to get the hell out of the house as much as you can, and you need some exercise.
This is true.
Right.
This is true. So anyway, well, listen, I got to get out of here, but real quick, Dave, did you know that scientists found a food that takes away 90% of a woman's desire to make love?
Really? Wow.
Yes.
So
it's called a wedding cake.
Oh, it's called a wedding cake.
Hey, God bless you.
Wait a minute. You're not done. You're not done. Did you hear about the Trump supporting beaver?
No.
Yeah, he gave a damn. All right, we're going to end on that. Thank you, JL. Thank you. Appreciate you. Happy Thanksgiving, everybody. We'll be back next week on the Friday after Thanksgiving for another edition of the Dave Weinbaum Show. We're getting close to the end of the 12th year here, so maybe we'll have some extra turkey in here or something. I don't know. Meanwhile, they had to give us locks to the door to get in. So
yeah, we're going to have to make a new song, too, because our intro won't work anymore once we get past the 12 year.
What do they know? They don't even know the date. I have to think about when the date was. All right, it was December 3rd.
You got it.
December 3rd, 2008, when I gave my first radio show, and when I went in to ask the manager, Mike Thompson, who has quit and gone back, how it was, he says, all I can tell you, and it was a half-hour show, he says, if you do another show like that, you won't have a show. It was that bad.
Did he really say that?
I interviewed my next-door neighbor,
dentist.
Henry Antelak, the dentist. So I didn't quite know what I was doing, but I got I got busy with it. And I figured it out. Nobody was really teaching me what to do.
Well,
So
people on Facebook are saying great show as usual. So there you go.
well, that's
the
great.
feedback
Well, I
we need.
love you all. Thank you so much. Everybody on Twitter that helped me. Everybody on Facebook. All the people out there listening. You guys never give up. Never let up. And you'll never let your country down. This is Dave Weinbaum. Have a great weekend and a great Thanksgiving.